Soldiers are always warned not to get too attached to the dogs they work with, because the job ends, deployments end, and sometimes you don't get to say goodbye. But for Staff Sergeant Jason Bowes, that advice was impossible to follow, because Cece wasn't just another military dog, she was his partner, his shadow. His teammate. And in a place like Iraq, where every step could hide a bomb, trust wasn't something you handed out easily. It had to be earned. Cece earned it. She was a chocolate brown Labrador named Cielo, but Jason called her Cece, and for 5 long years, she served beside him on the front lines. Her job was simple, but terrifying. Sniff out explosives before they could take someone's life. One wrong move, one missed scent, and it could be over. But Cece never stopped. She worked through heat, dust, fear, chaos, and she kept walking forward, like she was built for it. Jason watched her save people again and again. He watched her do things that most humans wouldn't have the courage to do. And somewhere along the way, she stopped being a dog. She became family. They went through everything together. Long days, dangerous missions, endless tension. And the kind of moments soldiers don't always talk about. The quiet ones, after everything calms down, when you're left alone with what you just saw. Cece was there for all of it. And that bond didn't feel optional, it felt permanent. But in 2012, everything changed. Jason was injured. Suddenly he was being flown out of Iraq. His deployment ended not with closure, but with a painful goodbye he didn't want to make. Cece stayed behind. She was still considered army property, still assigned to work. Jason had no control over what happened to her next. He returned home to Michigan without her, and people around him probably expected him to be grateful, to be relieved, to be happy he was alive. But he didn't feel whole, because the one partner who had been at his side through war wasn't there anymore, and that kind of absence doesn't feel like missing a pet. It feels like losing someone who understood you when no one else could. For a long time, it seemed like he would never see her again. Then, 2 years later, Jason finally got news. Cece was being retired, and for the first time since he left Iraq, he felt hope, but it still wasn't guaranteed. She might not even return to the U.S. She could be reassigned, adopted by someone else. Lost in paperwork. Jason wasn't willing to take that chance. He reached out for help, and that's when organizations like the American Humane Association and Mission Canine Rescue stepped in. They worked behind the scenes to bring Cece home, and eventually, they did. Cece was coming back. Jason waited at Chicago O'Hare International Airport, surrounded by reporters and cameras. But he barely noticed them. He wasn't there for attention. He was there for her. The dog he hadn't seen in years. The partner he never stopped thinking about. The dog he still called family. When Cece finally walked through the airport, she was being led by a handler, wearing her vest like a professional. Calm, focused, controlled. For a moment, it almost looked like she didn't recognize him. And then Jason called her name. Checha. That was all it took. Her head snapped up. Her pace changed instantly. Her paws started sliding on the shiny floor surface. As she pulled forward with everything she had, military discipline disappeared in 1 second. Because she knew that voice. She knew that name. And suddenly, she wasn't a military dog anymore. She was just a dog who found her person again. Cece launched herself into Jason's arms, licking his face like she was trying to make up for every day they lost. Her tail wagged so hard it looked like her whole body was shaking. Jason dropped to the ground because he didn't even have time to stand. He later said he knew she was coming straight at him and he just let it happen. Everyone watching was emotional, even the cameraman, because it wasn't just a reunion. It was proof of something people forget. That dogs remember. That love doesn't disappear. That loyalty doesn't expire just because time passes. Jason had no plans to put Cece back to work. Her job was done. She had earned her rest. From now on, she would live the couch life, the kind of peaceful life every dog deserves. After spending years walking through danger, Jason said now he could take her anywhere. Anywhere he wanted. And the joy in his voice made it clear, he wasn't just happy. He felt complete again. Because Cece didn't just come home. She came back to where she belonged. Back with him, back with her teammate, back with her family. And judging by the way she ran into his arms, it was clear Cece never forgot.
Come on, let's go, bring it here.
Not even for a second.
Who's a good boy? Yes, you are. You are such a good boy.